Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We know, obviously, one of the main issues, one of the largest issues in Call of Duty right now is the cheaters. And it's sort of a compounding issue. The cheaters are an issue, but then also the whole system regarding the cheaters is an issue. Ricochet is an anti-cheat, severely underperforms, half the time doesn't even feel like it's in the game. The elements of Ricochet that do feel like they're in the game, though, are also incredibly broken in the form of shadow bans and voice comm bans. The entire system needs a drastic overhaul, and unfortunately, we don't have good news on that yet. In fact, we have even more not so great news, because cheaters have again made Call of Duty look very just not great. That's the best way to put it, right? They have kind of exposed Call of Duty yet again. This is far from the first time this has happened, especially as of late, but that's just kind of the state of Warzone and Black Ops 6 and Call of Duty as a whole right now. There needs to be something much more drastic done to combat cheaters, and all we've gotten so far is the blog post from a few days back detailing that we'll see some major updates to the kernel level driver and server side protections in Season 2, which isn't until the end of January, in Season 3, which might not be till late February, early March, right? So some time before we see anything significant there. But the newest update here that is not great stems from, well, a cheater somehow on Twitter. So there's been a whole thing going on lately where players who are obviously legitimate are getting shadow banned. This was quote tweeted a couple of times, and basically what ended up getting responded in one of these threads was this image here from this Twitter user, first name, bunch of numbers, right? And it's a picture of their hack menu currently open in Warzone. So much for the kernel level driver that's actively going on in Ricochet, because the person clearly has the game open in the background, and hey, look at that, a cheat menu that is not kicking them off the game for having it open. So real great detections going on there, but they're showing off this this menu here in their cheat menu that actually shows that you can submit 1 million reports on a player, right? So not only can cheaters beat you with their aim hacks and their aimbot and their wall hacks and everything else going on, their spin bot, this, that, whatever else, now this is far from the first time this has happened, but it's back yet again. On top of all of that, they have a way to beat you with the actual anti-cheat itself by submitting reports to a person, anyone they want in the lobby, for the typical stuff: cheating, offensive text, offensive voice, which if you get reported for that, even if you don't say anything, it automatically comm bans you because the system is so broken, text spam, or send all 100 times. And Call of Duty has repeatedly said that spam reports don't do anything. The fact that this cheat, though, has been used in BO6 Warzone, there's clips of it out there showing players getting shadow banned because of it, would say otherwise. And as Modern Warzone quotes and reports here, cheaters can send 100 reports at once to get legit players shadow banned in Call of Duty. Now, this is an issue that has happened before, as I mentioned. So Charlie Intel ends up basically posting the same information here, saying there is apparently a hack available that is allowing cheaters to send 100 plus in-game reports of a player in Call of Duty, which is causing players to get shadow banned in Warzone and Black Ops 6. Now, for what it's worth, we already know that it takes very few reports, whether they are legitimate reports or just angry reports, to get someone shadow banned. This has been an issue since they introduced the shadow ban system back in Warzone 1 of players who are legitimate getting falsely shadow banned, and basically they're unable to play the game for at minimum a week's time, right? Which sucks. I've raised this issue in several videos saying this needs to be adjusted. This system is broken. The system is abused. And the fact that there's now a hack for it, or that this hack has sort of rejuvenated and revitalized itself somehow here in BO6 and it's back yet again, serves as another point of emphasis. There is not enough being done to combat cheaters. Isaac here ends up responding saying this was a thing back in Al-Mazrah 2, maybe even as early as Caldera. I don't know if anyone has the old tweets, but we've seen pics of cheaters' dashboard for the report 100 times years ago. COD's still sticking with their beloved shadow ban system, though. And Charlie Intel responds with exactly what I was just talking about. Oh, that's good. Activision still insists that spam reports do not do anything. But clearly they do. And it may not be a situation of every single time one individual spam reports someone that guarantees a shadow ban. It could be a squad. Let's say, for instance, I've used this as an example before because I've seen it happen in game. If you wipe a squad and let's say you just absolutely thrash them, you broke their ankies, you embarrassed them, they don't like it, they don't like the fact that you destroyed them, they might know that you're a legitimate player who's just very good. If all 4 of them say, hey, this dude, we don't like him, he just trashed us, let's all just report him for cheating and exploiting and see what happens, and all 4 players send that report, there's a decent chance that that legitimate player could be shadow banned simply because someone didn't like him. You do not have to have a reason to report somebody in this game, obviously. Anytime you get a kill cam, you can open up the menu, and if you click that report button, there's a decent chance that if you do it, maybe one other person does it, another person does it, that other player could get easily shadow banned without any actual legitimate reason. And then they're in the shadow ban system, which we know is incredibly flawed. All right, so post edit Zach here. Shortly after I had recorded this, we got a slight anti-cheat update this morning that I covered in today's first video. And in this, COD Updates actually addresses the accusation that spam reporting has an impact in game. And this is what they say. As a reminder, spam reporting of any kind does not impact a player's in-game standing. They say that, but I feel like we have enough in-game evidence of this happening that it's hard to fully believe that. Just my 2 cents. Whether one player reports someone once or 1,000 times, our system only considers the first report and throttles repeated reports. Users that attempt to spam report will have their account actioned on in accordance with the security and enforcement policy. We have recently banned over 8,000 accounts for malicious reporting. So this is, I would imagine, having to do some with these cheats that allow you to send thousands of reports or hundreds of reports at a time, like the cheat that we're discussing in this video. But the shadow ban system in general is still incredibly broken, and I think this is an appropriate time to highlight just how flawed this system is. So I still want to continue with this discussion, despite the fact that COD Update says, hey, spam reporting as a whole technically shouldn't work, although, like I said, I don't know if that's fully functioning as intended. It has been the case for years that in the shadow ban system, one, there's basically no way to get out of it directly. If you are a legitimate player in the shadow ban system, you have to wait it out. That's essentially the only actual quote-unquote solution to combating it. You have to go through, wait your week, typically is the time for it, 7 days after you got shadow banned, and you'll get out of that limited matchmaking state, right? And then you're back into normal lobbies, you can play the game again. However, there's also this reported trust score on your account, essentially, like a credit score, for instance, where if you get shadow banned, that trust score gets lowered. And keep in mind, this isn't actually a confirmed thing that the devs have said, yes, this is how it works. This is just seemingly an example of how the system works, right? Sort of bringing the example to life in a sense. But your trust score gets lowered on your account, and then when you're out of that shadow ban, initially, you play another game. Let's say, again, you're a good player, you trash somebody, you absolutely destroy them, they report you. It's now easier to get shadow banned again because that trust score is lowered. And there's no real way to technically improve that trust score like you would a credit score, right? You're just at the mercy of the system. And the system is wildly flawed, it is easily abused, and it is incredibly, incredibly broken. So you get stuck then in a shadow ban loop. You might be able to play 1 or 2 matches, but then if you get reported again, unfortunately, you jump right back in. And all Call of Duty has ever done to address this is say, hey, spam reports, if you report somebody 10 times, that's not going to do anything. And in fact, it's actually against the TOS, so something might happen to you. But that's been proven to be false, because since they released that blog detailing that spam reports don't work, these hacks have resurfaced time and time again, as recent as now, where a cheater can just spam report anyone they want 100 times, and there's a decent chance that that person then gets banned because of it. So not only can cheaters ruin your gameplay and take you out with aimbots and with wall hacks and all of that, but they could actually now abuse the anti-cheat to a point where they also use the anti-cheat against you. That is such a bad look for Call of Duty. And I referenced it as being a compound issue beforehand, where the cheaters are their own problem because the anti-cheat is so broken, but then the parts of the anti-cheat that are actually in effect in the game, those also don't work. On top of that, though, you also have basically no trust in the Call of Duty community, right? Because cheaters are so bad, because the anti-cheat is so bad, you're now in this situation with Call of Duty where you see a kill cam, and keep in mind, kill cams are also not accurate. You have the 20 hertz tick rate servers in Warzone, at least, where gunfights don't ever feel super consistent, and a lot of times they just don't feel real at all, right? Because something so strange happens. There's already very minimal trust, and because of the lack of information in game with 20 hertz servers and bad kill cams, you then see that and it's like, wait a second, that kill cam looked really suspicious. You know, audio in this game is super inconsistent. Maybe the other person heard you, maybe they didn't. They're pre-aiming you. It's like, what's going on here? The kill cams at times are sped up, so a simple like motion left to center on somebody actually looks like it's an instantaneous snap. So it's like, well, wait a second, is that guy aimbotting? What's going on here? There's so little trust in the Call of Duty community amongst other players. There's so much misinformation in the game because of the bad servers, the inaccurate kill cams, the inconsistent fights, that reports go out like crazy. So even if it's not a hacker directly going through and sending 100 reports to somebody, you also now have the community just constantly reporting each other because there's no faith in each other. There's no trust in the other community members to not potentially be cheating because cheating is so rampant and because things look so strange in game at all times. So this is just issue on issue on issue on issue that leads to this terrible system, this really bad state of Call of Duty, and this complete lack of trust in the community. The whole thing is just a mess, and I'm genuinely concerned that the only actual information that we have on this is that major fixes, which have yet to be detailed, are coming in a month to 3 months time. That's too long. This game is going to continue to drop player after player after player after player by the tens, hundreds, thousands because of these issues, and it just doesn't seem like anything's being done. Maybe they do a little bit more once the devs are fully back from holiday break and there's no interruptions in the near future, no more like major holiday breaks between Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, everything going on there. That's what we can hope for, right? But until we see something actually done, until we see action taken, there's just not a whole lot of faith here, which really sucks, right? I want to be able to jump into COD, have fun, not be cheated on, not be spam reported by either community members who at this point just don't believe anything other than it's a cheater who kills them, or somehow by an actual hacker abusing a system that has been patched before and told doesn't work, yet there's examples of it doing it. So bad situation. Again, kind of the common theme for COD right now. It sucks. Hopefully things do trend in a better direction in the new year. Time will tell though, of course. I'll be sure to keep you guys in the loop for everything going on in COD, whether it's good, bad, in between. All the latest news, updates, meta breakdowns, everything COD related is here on a daily basis. So feel free to hit that subscribe button. Join us on the road to 1 million subs. And if you enjoyed this video, you want to get more attention on this topic, maybe eventually get a response out of them because we keep reinforcing something needs to be done. A like rating is the best way to do that. It really does help share the video around. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.